thank you so much for coming to our last Green Liaisons lunch of the semester. If I don't already know you, if I haven't seen you, my name is Emily Benke. I'm the student co-chair of Green Liaisons with Francis Karani back there, the other co-chair. And Green Liaisons is just a way for us to introduce people to new environmental initiatives happening on campus. And they range, this time we're having a student campaign, and other times we have academic professors. But this time we have Clarké Snell, who is an awesome UD senior biochem major, who is she's the founder of several groups, including the UD Veg Club and the UD Prenatal Group, and she's involved in so many other things, and I've worked with her on environmental things, and she's fantastic, and she's going to tell you about her awesome efforts to start a Meatless Monday campaign on campus and the reasons behind why Meatless Monday is so important. So if you guys, and also, just an aside, I haven't already told you about that, the food has come in from the end, is stuck in the rain, but it won't shortly. So thank you so much for coming.
Hi, so as Emily mentioned, my name is Clarké. What I'm essentially trying to do is partner with the Humane League this semester to try to initiate change both on the awareness of animal agriculture and the effects that that has on the environment, and then initiate a program. So right now I'm working with Dining Services, and they're working to have Meatless Monday implemented all next semester, which is really awesome. So not that people who go to the dining halls will not have the option to eat meat, because you don't want to ever take the option away from people, obviously, but more so that it is more promoted, that it is initiated, and that people are aware of the benefits of doing such so that they can make their own decisions if they so desire. So as of now, the Meatless Monday pledge on our campus is 190 students who have pledged to go meatless for the year on Mondays, which is really awesome just for being a grassroots kind of campaign. And hopefully throughout the next semester that will be able to continue to grow. So what I wanted to do today was just discuss the effects of animal agriculture and meat consumption on the environment, because I think it's a topic that a lot of people aren't completely aware of all the time. Some people are and some people aren't, so we might as well discuss it. So, pretty astounding fact, and these sources are from the Environmental Protection Agency, is that there are about 9 billion animals that are raised and killed for food in the United States every year. And we're getting things from obviously meat and eggs and dairy products from those such animals. That's a really astounding statistic because that's in comparison, since this is just in the United States alone, to the 315 million people that we have in the United States and 7 billion people that we have in the world. So 9 billion in America alone is it's a large comparison that you would have. So other than the products that we're obviously getting from these animals, what other sort of things are obviously coming from them, maybe something that we don't want other than those foods? Yeah.
Manure.
Manure, yeah. Waste, and lots of it. Lots and lots of waste. So a lot of this waste, in comparison on like a human scale that we might produce in a day, this is what the average human might produce in a day. In comparison, this is farm animal waste. So you can see, obviously, that this is a very astronomical kind of comparison, 170 times the amount of waste that we produce in this country, which you then think about that in retrospect to the 9 billion animals, that's a lot of waste. And that's a lot of waste that can then end up getting trickled back off into groundwater, getting put back into the soil, and it can be utilized in positive manners, but when you have that many animals and that much waste in comparison, obviously you're going to have some problems when you have such excess. So that water and whatnot that you're getting that has all that runoff and whatnot is going to be, it's going to contain bacteria, obviously, which we contain as well, and then other pathogens and things that are going to then be released back into the environment, of course, which is why it is a concern on an environmental perspective. As I mentioned, one of the benefits of such is that we can utilize it as a fertilizer, obviously. But again, with the amounts that we have, the animals that we have, and the excessive amounts of such, it is really hard to be able to utilize all of that. So a lot of it is going back into the environment. Has anyone ever seen pictures of such from like factory farms talking about like waste lagoons and these large vats of just waste from these animals and such? So again, just as easily as maybe if you use that manure, it can then run off back into the environment. When you have large lagoons that are filled with waste products, obviously not all of it is going to be able to stay contained in that area. We have problems nowadays with topsoil in some certain farms, not all, but some, And this can also have effects on local farmers and other people in the area. And when we have so many animals in the United States alone, that could pose even more problems. So according to the Environmental Protection Agency, animal agriculture is the #1 cause of water pollution in the United States. Over half of the rivers and streams in our country are now contaminated by waste from farm animals. So it's not every single river that you stream in and every single river and stream that you swim in, but it is saying that this is a significant component of our water pollution in the United States, and something to be aware of. So has anyone seen this picture that came out a few years ago of polar bear sitting adrift and talks of global warming and whatnot? Most people have seen this picture because it's like all over the media. And from this, what would you think is the most significant component of global warming today, as of now, based on studies both by WHO and by the Environmental Protection Agency, by Sierra? Still animal ag. So, according to the United Nations, as mentioned before, what we eat has more of an impact on global warming than what we drive or anything else that we do. The United Nations has shown that producing the plant-based meals we love, simple things as pasta with marinara sauce or chipotle bean burrito with like guac and vegetables, obviously, can create 20 times less greenhouse gases than producing meat. And one of the quick facts that kind of puts that into comparison is that if everyone in the United States ate no meat for just 1 day a week, it would be equivalent to not driving 91 billion miles or taking 7.6 million cars off of the road. So just by making that really small change, it's not asking people to absolutely revamp their lifestyle. It's not asking people to do something that's absolutely absurd. It's saying 1 day a week, you can make some sort of small change and you can have a positive change on the environment, which I think is why Meatless Monday is a really good initiative. So one of the reasons that this is a problem, obviously, is waste, as mentioned before. And that waste contains a lot of methane, which is a powerful greenhouse gas. And I'm going to skip the chemistry behind that, being a biochemistry major, because I'll just get way too passionate. But other than that, and other than the methane, that we're also utilizing a lot of resources to be able to produce this meat. So you need water to be able to feed the animals. You need grain to be able to feed the animals. You need oil to be able to process that. You need all those resources to be able to not only feed them, but give them land to be able to build the factory farms that are containing and holding those animals. There's a lot of things that go into that with those 9 billion animals in the United States alone, not even thinking about the other animals that are used for meat in the world. To give you a comparison for that, for 1 pound of meat, you have to feed an animal up to 20 pounds of grain. So let's say you had a pound of pasta that you were to eat, and you had 20 plates of it, and you decided to throw 19 of them away and only consume 1, just to be able to get that comparison of 1 pound of meat. That's a lot of waste that you just threw away for sources that you could have utilized just to get a pound of meat. So, mass amount of sources are being utilized. And as mentioned, producing meat also takes a lot of oil, it's processed and transferred everything, it takes a lot of water to grow those crops, which I discussed before. For the same amount of water, to produce a single hamburger, how many showers do you think you can take per month? Just another kind of visual comparison. Any guesses? A lot. Any number? A month? Good guess. 6 months. That's a lot of water. That's a whole lot of water for 1 burger. So if you think about, even in our dining halls, there are frequent days that we just have burgers, and they're at the home zone station where everyone gets a burger, and some people get 2 burgers. All of that water that our campus could have saved is a really valuable resource. Sure, we don't have water problems here in Delaware as we've got in California, but the fact that we do have a limited amount of those resources, that we don't have access to a numerous amount of fresh water that we can just utilize, is definitely still a problem. So to bring this back to our campus, in 2014, we had about 22,000 students on this campus. And say for each 1 student that you have, they went meatless 1 day throughout the whole semester. So you can kind of compare that to 22,000 days, right? And through the semester, 4 in September, October, 4 in November, since there's actually 5 Mondays, and then 2 in December, ignoring finals week, so everyone kind of just eats whatever they want. Let's say everyone did it throughout the whole semester. So the exact pledge and initiative that I'm trying to get started for everyone to do Meatless Monday for the semester would then be 314,000 meatless days for our campus. That yields to 850 years as a vegetarian. And what those stats have to do with is that you would end up saving about 170,000 animals, 165 pounds of meat, and 2 million pounds of carbon dioxide. 2 million pounds. If you then removed eggs and dairy as well, because even taking meat out of the equation is a huge benefit, but then also taking out those dairy animals who are still there, and oftentimes those calves are small ones. But small cows are used as veal, since their meat is more tender and whatnot. And then, of course, the eggs, and they're constantly being produced, that's still also going to take a lot of resources. Then you would end up almost doubling your factors and moving the amount of CO2 that you saved from the environment to 6 million pounds, just by going vegan 1 day a week. So removing both meat, eggs, and dairy, which is also not that bad for 1 day a week. So that is kind of my short rundown on things. Yeah, pretty much essentially any sort of change that we can make on our campus, I think, is a change worthwhile. It's a really easy change, and what I'm essentially trying to do is just initiate the knowledge that this is something that we can take hold of, this is something that is worthy of being promoted, which is why the dining services department has been working through this semester to get that initiated next semester. And just looking at the stats, it's something that we could really be on the forefront, both as a university and as a state, and just as the United States in general. But I think we'd be able to make some really positive change. So if interested, here's the page. It's ud.meatlessmondaypledge.com, and anyone is able to go on there. What you would get on Mondays is an email reminder that it's Meatless Monday, and then recipe ideas, fun facts, and more information about it, so that you can continue to go forth, not just with the understanding that you're doing Meatless Monday, but how to do such and how to make meals that would be catered to such. And if you're interested in learning more, Veg Club meets on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Memorial, and we talk about these kind of things, health benefits, other sorts of things, how to get protein, other concerns for people, not just vegetarians and vegans, but people who are interested in lowering their meat consumption. So any and everyone is welcome. It's really just more about education, and then we also cook meals, so people know how to make dorm-friendly foods that are both desserts or meals that are meat-free, so that they can have the resources to do such. And that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Any questions?
How else are you promoting this? Do you have links from other websites to this, or?
From other websites to the Meatless Monday page.
Yeah.
I've only been promoting it really just through, I have like a pledge sheet that I bring around, and sometimes I'll like stop by the library or other, like the student center, and try to get people to do it. I have shared it on Facebook, and I mean through the semester I've gotten 190 people, which is like not that bad. But I'm also one person, so having more help for that is definitely more helpful. So ideally, the goal is to be able to use dining and their willingness to be able to really help this continue forward, to be able to spread it, but right now I don't really have any links to other websites. It's really just the initial link and then sharing on Facebook and talking to people about it.
So you said dining is like on board, or they are thinking about it, or what is their stand?
They're on board. Right now I'm working with one of the interns and nutritionists, and then the director of dining services to get that into play, and then we're just working on the logistics of like when we can and when we can't, and which rules abide by Aramark and which ones don't. So it's going to happen, it's just more making sure that all the tidbits are worked out.
Would that be like they would just do one dining hall, or would it be like through each? I don't know if they...
The idea is to do it through Rodney, mainly, but then also to have carts throughout the semester, maybe like once or twice a semester, go to the other dining halls to be able to talk about that too. But it's easiest with Rodney because they have an open kitchen, they have the really large and more elaborate vegan station in comparison to the other ones. So it's easier to do it there, but they're planning to move to other places as well. I know someone brought up the topic or the question that if you do Meatless Monday, then is it really any benefit if people are then loading up on Taco Tuesday? And the whole point, I just wanted to make sure it was very clear, is that the entire purpose, obviously, is to reduce. So whether you're doing it on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Friday or Saturday, or 2 days or 3 days, there's still going to be benefits from reducing meat consumption. And it's more that Meatless Monday is really catchy kind of thing. It's easy to remember, it sticks, and it's more just utilizing the play on that to help people have that tool and access to it, and not just that we should be reducing on one day and then building up our consumption the other day, because we can obviously see from the stats that that's not a beneficial act to go about. Just want to clarify that.
I've noticed this in some area restaurants too. So are you getting this word out to any of the businesses anymore?
I haven't yet. I'm looking to talk with, I spoke with Honeygrow, which is opening on Main Street, and then looking to talk to Homegrown Cafe and some of the other places that offer more vegetarian kind of fare. And then also looking to do a feed-in event, which essentially takes like different versions, so like vegan turkey and things, so that people can sample it, because a lot of people have the idea that vegetarians and vegans only eat salad. And then it's very hard to then visualize, okay, well, if you're only eating salad, normally our vegetables and our salad and those kind of grains are like side portions to the meat. So then it's like, how are you surviving off of these tiny portions? And that's not the meat, that's not the point. The caloric density of those kind of things, you have to increase your amount of vegetables and grains to be able to reach the same nutritional value. But that isn't to say that you're not getting it. So trying to do events like that both on campus, and if we're not able to, just because of the resources that dining is able to use and we're not able to get them on time, then I'll probably reach out to Main Street restaurants to try to spread the word that way.
Do you have an idea what Rodney's going to do? Any special offerings every Monday?
Yeah, what they're planning to do is, so I'm going to be working, like I mentioned, with the head nutritionist and one of the interns there. Those are the two people who are really passionate about making sure that this is really successful. And what we're going to do every Monday is have a table out that features 2 different recipe ideas. So right now there's like about 1 or 2 vegetarian or vegan options that are featured every single day, and they're going to expand that to 2 more on Meatless Monday, so that there's more options for people, which would be really cool. And then they're also going to essentially, like at the Mediterranean station or the gluten-free station, sometimes there's vegetarian or vegan things, and also feature those things. So there'll be likely a tag that has Meatless Monday on it on those other stations that have those things, so that people can know which ones can direct properly. Not, again, not to say that no one can have meat on those days, just to say you have the resources to do such. Here are some additional ways that you can, and like make the decision yourself. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you guys so much for coming. I just wanted to, well, first we actually are trying to get our next person, or at least someone in the spring, we're trying to reach out to dining services and see if they would want to give their opinion just on what they've done for Rodney itself. So that could be an interesting, segue for that. But otherwise, if you have seen our awesome new brochures, they're from Tabitha Grove, who's an amazing graphic designer person, and she made them, and we really like them. They're very pretty. And also, we have new cups, so we don't have the water bottles anymore, but if you guys want to take a new tumbler cup thing, they are for everybody. And no, there's not food. You'd like to take anything you want, really as much as you want. That would be awesome too. But thank you all so much for coming. Have a good day. And a great Thanksgiving too.
You too.